Hey, it's Daisy from Giro. I'm going to be showing you how to do a V60 brew at home. So equipment you're going to need is mug, hand grinder. So the reason we sell these hand grinders is because they use burrs instead of blades, so you get a more consistent grind. So that's what I use at home. Coffee. I got this from Giro, but it's obviously unground, it's whole beans. You're going to need a V60 dripper. This is a 2-cup one, 2-cup V60 paper filters as well. And then I've got the Stag pouring kettle. So I just boil my water separately, decant it into here, and then it just helps with the pouring. And then last but not least, the Rhino coffee scales. So they've also got a built-in timer which just helps with the whole brewing process. The first step is to boil your kettle. Second step is to weigh out and grind your coffee. So I'm following the workshop brew guide recipe. I've cut the recipe in half because I'm only making a coffee for myself and I don't actually have a 2-cup decanter. So I'm going to be using 15 grams of coffee, and then to grind it you're looking for the consistency of like couscous. With these you can take the bottom off and play around with it. I've played with it a few times and just got used to how fine I want it, but it doesn't take very long to get your head around it. I'm going to go ahead and weigh 15 grams. You probably want a little bit more because when you grind it you lose a few. Put the lid back on and then you get the handle here, put it on top. Just have a bit of fun. So you can tell it's done when it just goes around really easily. And then it all decants into the bottom. Now you want to place the mug and the dripper on the scales. I've already wet the paper and got rid of the excess water. Then you want to add your coffee in like so, and then tare your scales so they're at 0. Just want to make sure you got a flat bed of coffee. Then I'm going to pour the water from my kettle into the pouring kettle. That's why you set it to boil at the start, because you kind of want it to cool down a little bit and then get to about 95 degrees Celsius. So the first step is to bloom the coffee. So you want to pour in the center of the coffee up to about 60 grams of water, and then you want to let that sit for about 30 to 45 seconds, and then the coffee will slowly rise, and that's the bloom. So you also want to start your timer when you're doing this as well. And then after 30 seconds you just want to keep pouring circles around the coffee until you hit your end weight of 250 grams for me, because I'm doing half the recipe guide. So it's been about 40 seconds now. Slowly pouring it in. So by about 3 minutes 30 max, all of your water should have drained through, and if it hasn't, it just means you need to change the coarseness of the coffee. You've probably made it too fine. Again, it just takes practice and getting to learn the coffee. And because I brewed it straight into a mug, I can enjoy straight away. Cheers!